Hello, name is David Roskoff, AAC Certified Master Tech. Today we're going to be looking at the M178 engine. Mercedes M178 engine is the third iteration. We have the M176, M177, and this is the M178. As you can see, we have the engine cover here. We're going to remove this and we're going to go through kind of every component that we could look at. We're going to explain it to you and we're going to introduce you to your engine or introduce you to the M178 if you're new to it. First and foremost, we have our air filter assemblies here. We have our left one and our right one. And to access those, you have some screws right here that you have to remove. But that's where your air filters are going to be. Now, this is an interesting component right here. This is what you would call your recirculating blow-off valve. But when it comes to turbocharged or force-inducted engines, you're going to have a blow-off valve. So whenever you let off the gas, it doesn't go back to the turbo and cause some turbo surge. But these are going to be your blow-off valves. And the reason why they're called recirculating is because they actually recirculate back into the engine. We have this assembly right here. This is going to be the cover, or like a cowl, to the radiators. We have the condenser right here. You can even see a little bit of it through here, and then you have your radiator. And even though this might look like an aesthetic part, this is actually a functional part. This part acts, it prevents air from coming up and it keeps it directed towards the radiator itself. Now, talking about radiator and cooling, we're going to have your dual coolant reservoir tanks. You have your main one, and then this is your secondary one. I believe this is for the transmission and other components. And when you look at these are going to be filled with coolant. A lot of people don't know that they're not supposed to be filled completely because they expand with heat, and that's what the reservoir is designed for. It's allowing for the for the coolant to expand. And then we come over to the right, and this is going to look like it's our power steering fluid right here. But from this vantage point, you could actually look at your thermostat housing. And that's going to be really important, so you can inspect that every now and then. This is your vent hose here. I did order one of the last ones from Germany because it might be letting out a tiny bit of fumes, but right now I think it's still fine. We're still going to we still have the part if it gets worse or if we have any issues with that. But whenever you're inspecting these coolant reservoirs, we made a video how to inspect them. I recommend that you look at that. Then we're going to come over here, and this is a hot side V-mount. So you have your turbos right here. This is where there's a lot of heat. So as you can see, we have a heat shield here, even though it looks real artistic. We have some heat paneling here. We're going to jump over to the right panel first. In our right side access panel, you're going to have access to your brake booster, your master cylinder, and your ABS module here. This is going to be your ABS pump and module there. And then we're going to have where you could add some oil and where you can manually inspect your oil. Of course, we made a video how to inspect your oil if you want to look at that. The car has to be warmed up. But if you look here, this is pretty much the brake area, which I like because it's compartmentalized. Under these panels, I took one off, and it's just wiring. I think they did that for aesthetically because a lot of this wire is already covered. But if you're curious what's under here, it's wiring. When we come over here, this is going to be your panel for your battery, and let's go ahead and show you that. And over here we have our battery, and this is where you could access it, look at it, and this is also a port for the battery for the positive cable. And we're going to go ahead and look over here. We have our windshield washer fluid, but if you need to access your battery, it's right here. And to access the spark plugs, mine just got the spark plugs replaced, and it's not that hard. You could actually see the coil packs. It looks a little tight here, but mostly we have, harnesses, electrical harnesses. But one of the things I want to point out here, and again, it's going to be hard to see, but you also want to be inspecting these OEM catch cans, part of the PCV system. It's going to be right there. You want to just make sure that they're not leaking or they look like they have a lot of fluid. And you could also see the thermostat from this angle as well. We do have some good data here. We have some information about the AC, and a technician would know what that means, essentially how much weight it is and what to use. And then we have our typical stuff that's supposed to come in the car with their emissions. And then some of the stuff about the approved oils, I think that's just kind of a marketing collaboration thing. But besides that, this is the engine bay, and give you just a quick introduction to it. and hopefully you learned something. Thank you for watching.